Okay, so now we come to the second part, and that's making the three brass prongs to go in there. I've already cut the screws and fitted them, so that's all ready now for the next part. What I've done is super glued 3 bits together. They're just 3 bits of this, and what I'm going to do, because they're not perfectly level, I'm going to skim. I've put the 3 bits in super glued together that way round, and I'm just going to skim that to get them all the same distance, and then I'll turn it over and do the other side, and then I'll check it, see how much more I need to take off. Because if I'd left it like that and put it in, instead of it going in that way, put it in that way to cut the slot, because I want to cut all 3 slots at the same time. If they're not all dead level, when you pinch it up in the vise, it breaks the super glue seal. Hence taking a little bit off each side and then checking it. I have checked that I've turned the camera on this time. It might have been human error last time. In fact, it probably more than likely was. So we'll just skim a bit off that until they're all at the same height. A little bit more to go. I don't know whether you can see it on there, but probably not. But this piece is quite a bit higher than those two, so it's just a matter of getting them all level. Nearly there. This is about 1.5 mm wider than it needs to be, so there we are, that's all. They're all the same height. Now I've got to turn it over and do the same again. I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so we're turned over now, and it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. So again, just bring it down so we just get them all level, take the skim off. Hopefully there's going to be enough meat left. the crouch a bit more on it. Yep. So now I just need to measure it and see how much more I need to take off. Okay, I need to take 0.7 off. So we'll set up the DRO. And then we'll bring it down to it just touches. And then we'll take the 0.7 off, and that should give us the correct distance. See where we're at. Don't seem right there. Because that's cutting some off one end and not the other. I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, it turns out the mill had gone slightly out of tram, so I've had to retram it. So hopefully we should be alright now. But the thing is now, one end is slightly narrower than the other. I think this is the higher end, so I'm going to zero from that end. Yeah, so it's just very slightly narrow at that end. Oh yeah, no. We get it level and then measure it again. So now I'm going to measure it, make sure I know exactly how much to take off. So we need to take 1/2 mil off, and that should give us the 8 mil that we need. We just move that over to the centre, and then we're zero from there. Okay, so that's just touching. So zero the DRO. Yeah, we've got to take 1/2 mil off. Quarter mil. That's the 1/2 mil. Right, so now that should go in that slot. Perfect. Just very slight bit of movement, but nothing to worry about, so goes in there quite nicely. So now we have to set up that way, find the centre, and then put a slot in for the 3mm screw, put a slot, and then we need to put a point on the end, but not a sharp point, a sort of shallow point then on the end. But I'll bring you back when I'm all set up again. Okay, we're set up again to put the slot in. I've already found centre by going off each side of the jaws, so that's centre. Excuse me. And I've also worked out that I need 10.5 slot, 10.5mm length. I've set this end at 0 and that end at 10.5. So I'm going to plunge that in there, plunge it in there, and then mill the rest of it out. That's the theory anyway. We'll see how we get on. This swore so I can see what I'm doing. I'll put the hand up there and clear out the way then. Right, that's through. Now we'll move back to 0. Every part. That's 0. The same again. And once this is done, it's just a matter of putting it into acetone to break down the super glue. Not the ideal thing plunging down with a end mill like this, but it's just easier than messing about changing it. Right, so we'll knock the quill off, bring it down just a little bit. It's just a matter of joining the dots. I suppose I could have got a row of holes in there and done it that way, but it's one after the other really. Just doing it all together like this, all joined together in one piece, it makes life easier just to hold everything, because it's a small part anyway. And you know, they're all exactly the same. I need to trim the other end off as well, because I haven't trimmed it to length yet. the front end's all finished, once the slot's finished, I can mount them up and work out exactly where I need to trim the back end off to make them all same length. So basically I'll set my other one up so when they're all closed up to nothing, they're right on the edge here, not hanging out. So I'm not using the power feed on the X-axis because if I don't stop it quick enough it will snap the 3mm end mill. This one I can just do it to where I need to. A bit long-winded, but better than breaking an end mill. Especially this is the only 3mm one I got. I haven't showed putting the arrow on the end. Basically it was just marking it out with a scribe on the blue Sharpie and putting it in both at an angle, putting a parallel on here and then setting up the scribe mark to the edge of the parallel and then milling it down, doing that both ways. So I couldn't see the point of showing you that. I think they must be through. Seems like we're through. Clean that edge up. Clean that edge up. So I know it's nice and neat. There's the slots in. Oh, fell apart, look, right at the last minute. That's a bit annoying, never mind. I can put them together like that, I think. Just to chop the last bit off the back. Now it's just a matter of trimming the back end off. I've taped the 3 bits together just to keep them all in the same position, keeping the same size. Mark on there. I haven't not using the DRO for this. Can't see the point. It's not that critical really, as long as they're all the same length. I'll just give them a clean up with a bit of sandpaper. File around the sharp edges. And that's that part done. That's all the top done then. Just the base that needs doing. And the bolt that goes through the bed. Can't see me line. I'm nearly there. Forward a couple of times to neaten it out. Now, it looks to me as though they've blooming moved. That'd be annoying if they have. Yeah, they are very slightly. Wow, that's annoying. So you move very slightly. So some are going to be longer than others, but I'll put them all on and see what I can do. I don't really want to make them again. That's the trouble when the super glue gives way. There we are. I ended up just taking a mil off one of them, so they're all the same. But that's the top completely finished. I know it hasn't got a cutout in it, but I can't see the point of that for what most people use them for. It's just a matter of now making the base and the stud to mount it onto the lathe bed. So that's part 2 finished now, and part 3 to come. Thank you very much.